everybody. Hi YouTube. I thought I would use a little bit of a different angle today. I wasn't planning on doing a video actually, but work is really slow and I am on my lunch, and so I figured I would do a check-in with everyone. I did wish everybody a happy New Year's on my last video because I was not planning on having the time to make another video, but here I am. So happy Monday to all of you, and if you're new to my channel, my name is Jen, and I started my channel a few years ago, but never really was quite active on it until probably about a month ago, and have been making videos. I try to put out a video. I mean, ideally I would be putting a video out at least one per week, but I also don't want to just put videos out for the sake of putting them out, and I really just want to put videos out when I really feel that I have something to say, that I have something that I want to share, and yeah, so you're not going to find me just putting out videos just for the sake of putting them out. And in terms of what my video content is, it's basically, I would say mostly focused on recovering from abusive relationships, and self-discovery, self-love. That is the majority of my content currently. I do have interest in other areas such as beauty and fashion, and it might just be my own perception, but it does seem like YouTube is very oversaturated with that, and so I'm not sure that I will work on any of that or put any videos out on that particular type of content unless it's requested of me. Right now, I'm really feeling very inspired by the content on healing, self-healing from abusive relationships and narcissistic types of relationships of all kinds, whether they're friendships or romantic relationships or family relationships. So yeah, anyways, I guess, what is sort of inspiring me to come on today is just really sort of, I woke up kind of feeling like down, and if you're sort of new to my channel and my story, I am 6 months out of a narcissistic relationship, and what I call myself as a recovering empath, and just really going through that journey of learning to love self more, and prioritizing my own needs, setting up firm and strong boundaries, and just really like taking the time to learn more about myself and accepting responsibility in the relationships that I have had where I have felt that they are abusive, and so yeah, just really kind of like working on that journey. And I decided to take YouTube along with me. And if it helps out a few people, great. Obviously, I would love to reach more people. But, I'm not a professional at this. I am just a normal person. I don't have a lot of experience in content creation. It's really just, self-therapy. It's very therapeutic for me to be able to talk about it. And I get really excited actually when there is somebody that, appreciates my perspective, or, that I'm able to connect with somebody else that understands what I'm going through. That in itself, I think, is really therapeutic. So anyways, I'm fixing myself up some coffee here for this morning, or this afternoon. It's now about lunchtime. And if you're wondering what I'm putting in my coffee, it is eggnog, because I purchased it the other day for my girlfriends and I forgot to bring it out because we had so much stuff for our, I think I bought this for Christmas Eve. We actually went to the ballet. I decided to gift some ballet tickets, or take us all to the ballet. So I had bought this eggnog thinking that they could try it. Neither one of them are from this country. So I didn't know if they had tried eggnog before. So I really wanted to introduce it to them, but I completely forgot. So anyways, it goes bad really quickly. I didn't even notice, but it does go bad very quickly. And so I am actually trying to put it in my coffee. We're not looking at the fat content of it. And yeah, it actually tastes really good in coffee. If you've ever had eggnog in your coffee before, or if you have not, you should try it. Let's see. I usually heat up my coffee for about a minute. So anyways, as I was saying, I just woke up kind of down this morning, and I think that a big part of it is just going into the new year, and I'm trying to be really positive about the new year, because I do feel positive about it. I think that, moving something out of your life that no longer serves you is great, because you're making room for something that does serve you, and that's going to honor your happiness and honor all the things that I'm trying to work towards, that self-love, that honoring my own feelings and treating myself better, and allowing other people to treat me better, and showing people how I want to be treated. So I know it's a good thing, but I think so I was in this relationship for over a year, and this is cinnamon, by the way. I was in the relationship for over a year, and I guess I was just really disappointed that it wasn't what I thought it was. And I think it's totally normal to go through that grieving process. And I think I really give myself a lot of credit, because I think I've really done this the right way. I'm allowing myself to sit with my feelings. I'm looking at ways that I can improve myself, and looking at ways that I can accept responsibility for the role that I play in these relationships. And so I think I'm doing the right things, and that is definitely what I would recommend to you if you're sort of new and starting out your journey and trying to figure out, you notice a pattern, and you notice that you too find yourself in these types of relationships. And so if you do, it's really good to try to figure out how you are playing a role in that relationship, or what you are doing. What is it that you are doing that's contributing to that toxic relationship? Because if you don't address the issue, that's the way that you get to the root of the problem, is by really figuring out what the cause is. And, they say it takes two to tango, right? And so oftentimes there is something that you may be doing that you're not aware of that might be contributing to the cause of the dysfunction in that relationship. And so that's what I've done, and I'm really proud of myself, as I said, for doing that. But yeah, I don't know. So I have things to feel good about, but I also did wake up this morning feeling crummy. And I think it's because I'm still grieving the relationship, and I'm also I'm still coming to terms with the fact that my ex isn't who I thought he was. And, And if I'm being even more honest, my ex isn't who I wanted him to be. And maybe I only allowed myself to see the parts of him that I wanted him to be, and I didn't observe, I didn't accept, that's a better word, who he really was, you know? And so I also have to accept responsibility for that. Like, you know, oftentimes you'll hear that narcissists, which is what my ex definitely was, that they fall in love with their fantasy idea of you, not who you really are. And I think that I am kind of guilty of that too. Am I a narcissist? Absolutely not. I'm a very empathic person. Usually somebody who's a narcissist, they don't even really ask themselves that question or consider it. But yeah, I think that like it's an easy thing to fall into, like falling in love with our idea of who somebody is versus who someone actually is. I think it's, you know, I think it's easy to do. And I don't think that if you've done that, that automatically makes you a narcissist at all. There's a lot of criteria to being a narcissist. But I think that's a weird thing about narcissism. Like, some of the behaviors are behaviors that like everyone does to a certain degree, or a lot of people will do to a certain degree. But I think that one of the big differences is self-awareness, and then the other difference is empathy. That's a big one. The self-awareness and the empathy, I think, is what, you know, sets us apart. And probably the selfishness, I think, and the one-sidedness of the relationships. And, you know, I think I've said this in some of my other videos, but narcissism is, like, the word narcissism is thrown around a lot. And I wish people, I know that there are other content creators and YouTubers that have brought this up before, other therapists and people in the psychology field. But it's a word that's thrown around a lot. And, you know, of course it's always existed. I just think more awareness has been brought to the word, that more awareness has been brought to the word narcissist or narcissism. But I think what a lot of people fail to mention is that narcissism really is a spectrum, and the people that sit really high on that spectrum are generally like the people that have narcissistic personality disorder. But the truth is that we are all on that spectrum. We all sit somewhere on that spectrum. And I would argue that empaths sit on the lower end of that spectrum. But if you're not careful and you don't really consider the whole picture when it comes to someone's personality and behavior, you end up calling everybody a narcissist. And I think that you should be careful not to do that, because they do have quite a reputation. And so I think that there's a difference between saying someone is narcissistic, or that something that someone did was a bit narcissistic, versus there's a difference between that and then saying something like that and then saying like that person is a full-blown narcissist, or that person seems like they would suffer from narcissistic personality disorder. So I just feel like, I don't know, I like to remind people of that every few videos because I just feel like it's a piece of the puzzle that doesn't get mentioned a lot. And so many people really are misusing the word narcissist a lot these days. I need to reheat my coffee because this is not hot enough. I put it in for a whole minute, but it was a little bit hot, but not hot enough. I like my coffee really, really hot and strong, like my men. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking. Just trying to be funny. But anyways, yeah, so I don't know. I just woke up feeling kind of ick this morning, and I guess I just wanted to come on here and vent and, you know, just say, like, this is normal. It's totally normal and healthy to grieve a relationship. It's totally normal to grieve a relationship. You know, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. And I think I'm at the point where I'm having more good days than bad days when it comes to grieving my relationship. And honestly, the thing that really kind of keeps me going, that helps me have those good days, more good days than bad days, I would say is me continuously educating myself on narcissism, on dysfunctional relationships, working on myself, doing a lot of self-reflection, and really latching on to, friends that are showing me support. I'm just going to turn my computer around that I'm filming on. Got you guys on a stack of books. So actually the lighting is better in that direction, but whoops, I can't sit down on the other side. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? I can't sit down on the other side. Let me make sure the light is on full capacity. There we go. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It is not easy to get over a breakup, even when they are dysfunctional, and sometimes especially when they are dysfunctional, because we are trying to get through a very deep, I don't want to say deep connection, because it's that type of relationship doesn't have a deep connection. What it actually is a very deep trauma bond. And that trauma bond, like, usually it's very deep rooted to our childhood. For me, it definitely is. And so it feels so, like, the wound feels so deep. And so that's a really, like, a big part of trying to get through this breakup. I remember my first abusive relationship, which was both emotionally and physically abusive. And I didn't understand that it was abusive until it became physical. But I remember that relationship I was in for 5 years. 5 years is a really long time. And I was very young when it happened, and which is why I think, like, I have had to go through these types of experiences several times to fully understand the patterns, to really be able to identify and address those patterns. And I'm now a more mature woman and with more life experience and more knowledge. But yeah, it took me having these types of relationships several times and this one, the most recent one, really pushed me to understand, like really drive the point home, I guess, that I really needed to focus on self-love. And like, that I needed to work on the boundaries, that I needed to also, like, this is going to sound weird, but sort of understand how the two parts of dysfunction work together. The reason why I said it was going to sound weird is because in my mind, when I first started recently revisiting all this stuff again, like learning about it, I came from it as from the perspective that I needed to take control of the situation and understand where I was going wrong, but also that I needed to understand how the enemy works and thinks in order to beat them, if that makes sense. And it's kind of because they are sort of game players, right? And you have to, like, imagine that you are playing like a chess game. You have to know what the other player is thinking in order to get yourself to safety, or in order, which would be sort of winning the game, right? That you get to save yourself. So I just like, this last relationship for me was really the one that sort of drove the point home, where I really was able to dive in deeper and figure out how I was contributing to the problem. So it's been a journey. It's one that I wish I didn't have to go through, but it is what it is. We all have different upbringings and have to learn different lessons in life. And my gosh, I wish I could have learned this lesson. Like, if I had to learn this lesson in my lifetime, I really wish that I could have learned all of these things a long time ago, or had the emotional maturity or the intelligence to figure it out sooner. But I guess better late than never. And we all evolve in our own time. Those of us that want to evolve anyways. I can't say the same for narcissists. I think a lot of times they don't end up evolving as humans because they don't prioritize it. It's not important to them. They don't care. And I think from my perspective, it's so painful for them that they just can't go there, if that makes sense. And they don't want to. They're sort of emotionally numb. And it's just easier for them to use the self-defense mechanism of narcissism than it is to actually deal with who they are and their hurt and pain. So it's really unfortunate. It makes me sad. And I'm also just like, I think, having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that my ex was never the person that, like, the good things that I saw about them weren't real. And that's just like, I don't know. It's taking me a while to come to terms with that. It's really hard to fully understand that they are just not even the person that at all that I thought they were. It's weird. And it's I'm grieving that. It's sad for me, because it's hard to understand that, like, there wouldn't be any good points about someone. It feels harsh. It feels like, as somebody who always likes to see the good in people, I have a really hard time with accepting that there's not anything good about this guy, and also that he will never change. It's hard. I keep finding myself like wishing that he was a better person. but he's not. And I have this like conversation with myself a few times a week for sure, where I'm just like, I wish he were a better person. I wish he was a better guy. I wish that he loved me. Why doesn't he love me? Why can't he love me? You know, how can he just look at me as like an object and not as a person? How can he not care? Like, how do you, like, I don't understand. It's hard. It's really tough to like come to terms with that. But people like this exist. And, you know, again, I just keep trying to like I try to reinforce myself with positivity and reminding myself of what a great job I'm doing in learning about myself and my level of self-awareness, and like taking the steps that I've been taking to show myself love, like internally. The last video that I made was about how I'm making daily efforts to have awareness of honoring my desires, like my wants, which is a really big deal for me because I never used to even consider myself at all. And yeah, when I say it out loud, it sounds kind of like, in my head, I'm like, this sounds ridiculous. Like, that's the most simple thing. Like, why is it so hard for you to... Why? It's such a simple thing. Like, people do it all the time. They say what they want. Why is that so hard? But when you grow up being conditioned in a way by, you know, for example, I talk about my situation where I was conditioned to never care about myself, and to have, you know, I had a parent that never cared about me at all. It was all about her. So, you know, it's like a very deep-rooted thing. And I would equate it almost to almost like a phobia even, where it's so deep-rooted that it really takes a lot of rewiring and self-awareness and conscientious, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, really like deliberate action, like taking deliberate action every day to change that behavior, that old behavior. And it's not easy. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming maybe that you have been through this, or you are going through this, and you understand what I mean. You know, a lot of times, like, particularly on like, you know, abuse, like public perspective, people that are in the public that have a perspective on, like, let's say a very public abusive relationship, let's say like P. Diddy and Kim Porter, for example, or for those of you who don't know who he is, he's a rapper, and his girlfriend who stayed with him for a long time, or he also dated model and musician Cassie, she's a singer. Or you take like a case like O.J. Simpson, the athlete, the football player, and Nicole Brown, his wife. You know, people can be so judgmental about some of these high-profile cases against the women, or, you know, I mean, in most cases, a lot of times it's women that are in these abusive relationships. Not always, but a lot of time, the majority, yes. And people will make very mean comments where they pass some pretty hard judgments on women who choose to stay in these types of relationships. and then suffer the consequences. These are people who really don't understand how deep rooted the trauma bonds are, and also how they don't understand the brainwashing that occurs in these types of abusive relationships. An example of that is like, some of these cult leaders that have existed throughout history, even in our modern times. I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but have been cult leaders that are communal narcissists, and they come off as they have their whole cult, their whole group believing that they are like God, which is very like sort of a narcissistic complex, right? They think they're God. And then behind closed doors, they are like, sexually abusing people or hurting people, or emotionally abusing them and brainwashing them. Like, there have been actual studies where it has been observed that people who are abused mentally and emotionally, they actually undergo changes in their brain that affect their decision making. And I think that this is like a thing that a lot of people that pass harsh judgments on people that are going through abusive relationships don't understand. And so there's not often a lot of sympathy for people that stay in these abusive relationships. And I really think that the key to people having more empathy for, people that are going through these awful experiences is education and people talking about it. So, I hope and pray that the people don't have to go through these types of relationships, but unfortunately they happen. They even happen to sometimes to people that didn't grow up with dysfunction. I think it's less likely to happen to people that grew up that didn't grow up with abusive parents or somebody that abused them in their life, but it still can happen. And I think it's less likely that a healthy person will stay in that relationship for a long period of time. They because they love themselves, they're not likely to stay in that type of a relationship for very long. And on that topic, I was in this relationship for a little bit over a year. My past relationships, I was in for 5 years. So I do think I'm proud of myself for making that progress, and I really do feel like I've turned a corner this time around. So I just try to I am my own cheerleader, and I'm also your cheerleader if you're going through this. It isn't easy, and I think as long as you are making strides to educate yourself and work on your own issues and not just play victim, it is really important to accept responsibility for your part in the dysfunctional relationship. And I actually have a really good, an amazing recommendation for a video that it was actually just posted yesterday. Let's see, I would like to highly recommend it. I might make another video that just kind of cuts straight to the chase for this video recommendation. Because I think it's so helpful. Let's see. Oops. Sorry, that was my phone. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Hold on. I really want to share it because I just thought she did such an amazing job on...
Hi, everybody.
Sorry.
This video...
Okay. So this is a really great video if you're just starting out in your journey to heal from a toxic relationship and you are 100% ready to go for it and do the work that is required to evolve from engaging in abusive relationships. Please watch this video. It is a video by the channel Soulful Revolution. That's SOULFUL. And it's a two words, soulful and then revolution. REV, like Victor, OLUTION. And the name of the video, the title of the video is Unhooking. And it's called Unhooking: How to Permanently Detach from a Toxic Person or Relationship and Finally Move On. She just posted this video yesterday, and she does such a great job at explaining what you need to do to get out of this toxic pattern yourself. I would play it for you here, but the video is about like 15 minutes long, but I don't feel right replaying the entire video on my channel because it's not my video, and I feel that you should check out her channel, and I don't want to take her spotlight from her, but I really feel like this video is so helpful, and she is actually a tarot reader, and so if you're interested in tarot at all, you might, she's actually quite good, you might be interested in checking out her channel for that reason. But this particular video that I'm recommending is not a tarot reading. It is just some guidance, because sometimes that's what tarot readers will do, is they offer you guidance, right? When they do your readings. So this is just like general guidance on how to get out of that toxic pattern that is allowing you to engage in abusive relationships. It's such a great starting point. She hits on so many important points, and it's just such a great video. So anyways, if you can, please check it out. Let's see if I can show you what the video will look like. I don't know if you can see that. So that is her, and there's the title of the video, and there is her channel right there. So please check out that video, and I would even say, like, if you know someone who's newly going through this, this is an excellent video place for somebody to start, I think, because who wants to, I just feel like if I saw this video, like, oh my gosh, 20 years ago or 10 years ago even, it would have saved me. I don't know. I feel like it would have saved me a lot of heartache and suffering. And I'm all about saving people from heartache and suffering, even though, I don't know, I guess I had to go through that to grow, and a lot of us do, we have to usually go through that ourselves before we're ready to change and stuff. But anyways, if you get to check out her video, please let me know what you think of it, and please let me know what you think of my video. I'm not the best at, public speaking, and actually that's like another reason why I started this little hobby, is because I want to work on my public speaking, and just, I kind of grew up like being very introverted, I think because of my circumstances, having an abusive parent. I just wasn't really ever comfortable being super outspoken. And so it sort of followed me into adulthood. I'm still sort of like reserved, and not a super free person, if that makes sense. Like I'm not super, I don't know, I guess outgoing or like outspoken. I'm kind of more shy and reserved as an adult, but I really want to work on that. And again, my part of my journey here, I think, is in healing is becoming more familiar with myself and feeling more comfortable with myself. And part of being more comfortable with myself is being able to speak to the public, and just have that courage and that confidence to be me and to find out who I am. And so anyways, I really appreciate when you watch my videos and when you hit the like button. It just gives me encouragement to continue on and keep making a video. And it feels good. It's like positive reinforcement to to continue and to know that maybe I'm helping someone. If you feel comfortable leaving a comment, I appreciate that as well. I actually really like speaking with you guys. I've only received a couple of comments, and I hope that they're positive ones, but if they're not, that's fine. Not everybody can like you, and I'm learning to be okay with that. And let's see what else. Oh, if you're not subscribed, I really appreciate if you, obviously if you want to, you don't have to subscribe. But again, it's just more positive reinforcement for me and encouragement, just to know that somebody's watching my videos and I'm not just talking to myself in my apartment. But it's okay if I am, because I am, as I mentioned, doing this as my own therapy for myself. And it's kind of like online journaling, if you think about it. That's like open to the public, which is a little bit scary when you think about it. But it's also, I've heard before from people that are successful, like if you're not doing something every day that scares, to do something every day that scares you so that you continue to grow. So I guess that's what I'm trying to also do. And I hope, to be able to look back. I don't know if I'll ever watch these in the future. Maybe I will. I think certain ones, maybe I will. But anyways, yeah, I feel like I'm sort of rambling on now. So I guess I'll end this video. But yeah, hope everybody has a great New Year's, and I will see you again soon. Oh, and also if you have any suggested topics for videos, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I will definitely take them for consideration. And again, I try to post videos that I feel inspired to do. But maybe one of your suggestions will be inspirational to me and I'll decide to do it. So anyways, okay, see you guys later. Bye.